Hello, my Geminis. Welcome to Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina. I hope that y'all are doing well. Gems. Y'all have the Orphan, Gnosis, Alithia, the King, the Hunter, and the Vision. Sorry. So, I mean, I don't know, because I feel like there's just an idea of like, I mean, the King is a decision, but the King is like a decision that's based on like a great deal of understanding, right? Like you think of it like a good king is like a wise king, right? And Alithia is just kind of that like that black and white truth. And then you have the Orphan, and I feel like there's just, I don't know, it just feels like abandoned hope. Gems. Okay, let's pull some cards for y'all, do some clarifiers, dig a little bit deeper. Could be that you're dealing with somebody who's in that energy. You can be on either side of the story, so take what resonates and leave the rest. Gems. The World, Santa Muerta, Seven of Swords, or I'm sorry, the Four of Swords, the Knight of Swords, and the High Priestess. Yeah, I don't know, because it's just kind of this idea of like something is ending, you're laying something to rest, which I want to associate with this Orphan card, because I don't know, sometimes I think that, I mean, there's been a lot of ideas of like past relationships that have come through for me in the past like 6 months, I want to say. And sometimes I think when things end aggressively, and I feel like you guys have been going through a lot of aggressive ends just in the past year or so, at least. And I just kind of get this feeling of like when things end, there being this sense of, and this was in somebody else's read too. I want to say maybe it was Leo's. But just that idea of things like I just feel like, I don't know, I mean, I think about Kyle, you know, and I feel like if he knew that I wasn't angry at him, or that I wasn't, you know, like actively seeking his destruction, and, you know, like that really and truly, you know, like any of the frustrations or the, you know, like things that I have had to say have been from a place of, you know, like defending myself against what was being laid against me, not from me like intentionally trying to, you know, like make him out to be a bad person. Because if you talk to anybody in my life, and they, you know, and they would probably say, it doesn't seem like you're that mad at him, or it doesn't seem like you are that angry with him. And, you know, ultimately, I feel like I have a lot more reasons to be grateful and a lot fewer reasons to be angry. You know what I mean? And I share that story because I feel like what is being, like that energy of abandonment, that energy of the orphan that's being laid to rest, I think just comes with a recognition of, you know, like that's not true. You know, like I almost feel like whatever it is that you feel like people are saying about you, or, you know, like if you feel like somebody's talking about you behind your back at work, or you feel like somebody's going around and they're saying all these bad things about you, I almost kind of get this feeling of like, I don't know, I guess maybe just like flat out asking somebody, you know, because this is coming through to me now is like a, well, you know, like I thought this was being said, and I just feel like maybe it's somebody, I don't know, I feel like a third party presence here being like, yeah, but you know that's not true, right? Like, and I feel like when it's expressed to you in that manner of like not being defensive, not being, you know, all of these things, but just being like, but like also you do know that that's not true, right? Like, I don't think anybody's out there actively hating you. And that's not to say that there aren't people in the world who actively dislike you. It's literally impossible. You cannot get along with everyone. Not everyone is going to like you. Not everyone is going to vibe with your energy. You know, like, especially, it's funny because, you know, I work with massage therapists, and it's true. People find their massage therapist through like the energy that they connect with. And their inability to connect with one person doesn't make them less of a massage therapist. It's just that their energy doesn't vibe. You know what I mean? And I just kind of feel this sense of like, nobody's out in the streets saying anything to anybody about you. I don't think anybody would even, I almost get that sense of like, people would be like, oh yeah, I don't know. I don't really know that person very well. I don't really know anything about them. You know what I mean? Like, or it's somebody who was in my life and we used to be really great friends and we lost touch, but you know, like, still love them. You know what I mean? Like, lives went in different directions, you know? I could say that for plenty of my gems. But I just feel like this acknowledgement somehow gives you a sense of courage to speak on. The high priestess is just kind of that, like, I feel like the shadow side of, because you can feel energy, right? Like if you're feeling energy, some of my gems might have a lot of other placements that aren't air placements. You know, some of my gems out there, you know, are able to tap into like an intuitiveness, and I just kind of get this feeling of like, instead of tapping into like the shadow side, like paranoid, everyone's out to get me mentality, you're tapping into the side of you that is able to kind of step back and like perceive things for what they are through the many perspectives and experiences that everyone has in life, you know, because the high priestess is kind of like a psychic knowing. And I feel like that psychic knowing that feels empowered by almost this like understanding that like you were in your head about something, and it's like when you get out of your head about it, there's something that you like, I just feel like this, you always knew that that wasn't true, and that's part of the reason why you were so upset, because it left you feeling like what's really true. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, once you realize what's really true, then it seems like an easy decision for you to move forward with somebody. If it's a job and like you didn't hear back from a company and you were, you know, like, oh, they hated me, I was a terrible candidate, they didn't want to choose me, whatever. And then somebody's like, no, that's not true. But like, they were just waiting for you to follow up with your interview. And since you didn't do that and those other people did, like, you know, they decided to move forward with them. Because I just kind of feel like this idea of like an awareness and a decision to like speak on something that comes with a sense of like a greater truth that sends you in a direction that I feel like you felt like you had missed out on. Like you got left behind. Okay, Geminis. Could be that you're dealing with somebody in this energy. Again, take what resonates, how it resonates. Leave the rest. These are general reads. But, gems. Let's see what else we can get for y'all. Oof. Y'all, I got a massage today. Oh, it's so amazing. Okay. The Seven of Wands and Justice, the Four of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands, the Four of Wands, and the Page of Pentacles. Well, again, you know, like this decision that's either being made, or like an expression of something that like finally reaches you, that feels like, I always wondered like what the problem was. You know what I mean? And it never made sense to me. And then I feel like now it's like starting to make sense to you. The Page of Pentacles, you know, this is the idea of like rooting into something. And again, I just kind of want to tie this to the High Priestess, because I just get this feeling of like, you always knew that wasn't true. And part of the reason that it was frustrating to you is because you already felt so rooted in it. And it's like, you were thinking your tree was chopped and I don't know, like your tree didn't grow. I don't know, I'm just seeing a tree. I'm seeing roots, honestly, because it's just kind of like rooted in an understanding, but feeling like you weren't going to be able to grow. And now I feel like the idea here is that, like, no, in fact, you're going to be able to like start in this new beginning and work together. You know, like I feel like to create like a safe environment for creation, because I mean the Four of Pentacles can be like the shadow side, but this isn't coming through shadow side to me right now. It's coming through as like that, like, because again, that rooted, you know, and I feel like if the issue is like that sense of abandonment, then the Justice is a sense of rootedness, and an ability to like work with, and for a lot of y'all, it could actually be a job. Do you know what I mean? Because this feels like oh, well, like that was like the last step that I needed to take. You know what I mean? Well, now that I understand, now that that makes sense to me, I feel ready to do that. You know, again, this can resonate in so many different ways. Take what resonates, how it resonates, leave the rest. But gems, I mean, it's good. It feels like a sense of relief, which I think is in your read recently. The Chariot and the Two of Swords, a decision that moves you forward. I mean, there's definitely some like major movement here. You know, the Hunter is very, you know, like action oriented, very fast. The Chariot is like a very big movement, you know, and it's toward something that I think you've really wanted to do. You just haven't been making a decision because your fear of like making a decision was that you would be left out of it or forgotten in it, or, you know, like I almost feel like it would be like showing up to a party and nobody even acknowledging you were there. I don't know. Okay, gems, let's do one last card for y'all. We'll call it a read. The Lover and the Comic. It does, though. It feels like that. Like, don't be silly. Of course you're invited. Like, don't be silly. Of course we want you to be there. Maybe it's just something really simple for some of you where you didn't get invited to a party and somebody was like, and you thought somebody was mad at you, and it's like, nobody's mad at you. Like, just didn't even think you would show up or didn't think you wanted to come, or, you know what I mean? Like slow down with your worst case scenarios, gems. And I feel like, you know, that you get that. And I'm glad. I hope this resonates with y'all. If it does, please give me a like, share, and subscribe. And I will see y'all again soon. Bye.